She walks it loud like a thunderstorm, debunking myths with style and form. True crime, conspiracies, her game. Melissa Jade, remember her name. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Microphone fierce like a roaring lion, unveiling secrets people been hiding. True crime queen of the digital scene, Melissa's got you hooked on her screen. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Murders to cover-ups, nothing misses. Melissa's here to share her guesses. She's got theories big and bold, no stone unturned, no case cold. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. From murders to cover-ups, nothing misses. Melissa's here to share her guesses. She's got theories big and bold, no stone unturned, no case cold. She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame. 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 She's loud, feisty, spilling tea, diving deep into mystery, breaking down your wildest claims. Melissa Jade, she's got no shame.
Hey everyone, how are you guys? Hey Harley, hey Midnight Lace, it's not rocket science, dude. Jenny Dickman, Curious Christine, Fall Shiggles, Cicely, Juliet, Julie A. You went to a country festival for oh nice. Hi Freaky Vam, Megs, Jamie, Little Giggle, DB Bentley, Bogart, Big Daddy Barbecue, Tara, Lorena, Gidget. I've never had Botox before, but I'd love to get it. I'd love to get it. Hi, Leslie, Marie, Joey, Carolyn Cooper, Luna's Human, Tobeans, Tess, as this community. I was so upset, Tess. Hi, so there's that. I know. Hi, some Beach Holly. Oh, we've got a few things to go over tonight. And we have Patreon. So let's do our best to get through this. Hi, Lisa Lynn. On the Tisha and the Pretext. Yes, tomorrow night we have our next Tisha live. Do you really, Stephanie? I've seen some horror stories. Hi, Vanessa. Hi, Joe. I've seen some horror stories regarding like doing Botox yourself. So I would not, but you know what? Ask me as I get more wrinkles. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Hi, Sinistra. Okay, so let's jump into it. Oh, really? So there's that. Yay! I love when people, well, go show phone calls from prison support, but I love like going over it and reacting in real time with you guys with vegetable oil. Well, there's that horror story of that gorgeous actress that her friend sabotaged her. Her friend said, I could do the injections for you. And she intentionally put like oil and stuff in it. And her face to this day, like she's had so many surgeries, but It's really sad. Okay, so let's jump into it. We have our missing child from tonight's live stream, which is Brianna Annalise Bao. She has been missing since April 25th, 2025 out of Mount Vernon, New York. She is 14 years old. So if you or anyone who knows information on her whereabouts, please contact the New York City Police Department at 1-646-610-5000. Okay. Hi, Lisa Marie. I'm 58 and I'll stick a needle. I'll stick a needle in my face if it helps. Hey, Harlot. Hey, Justin. Yeah, that's different though, Sinistra. Yo, Dr. Phil has had some crazy guests on. But I saw the one. Did you ever see the Dr. Phil episode where the woman made herself blind? Shit like that pisses me off, okay? The person just felt like she was born to be blind. And so at first she would walk around with blindfolds on and things like that until eventually she found someone who was willing to pour kitchen cleaning products, like some type of acid or bleach, into her eyes, and it backfired. Like, I mean, it was bad, but yes, Sinistra. And she is like pretty much blind now, but I don't know, like mental health. This is a mental health issue in my opinion, and it's terrifying. Yeah, Marie Joy. It was a look up the episode. Yeah, she found her like on Craigslist or something, Gidget. You're right. She was like, yo, what up? My name's Kate, and I am looking for someone to pour acid in my eyes, so I will be permanently blind. No, don't worry about being charged, because I am willingly a participant in this, and this is what I'd like. And someone responded, which I don't know which side of that makes me more like curious, the fact that someone would ask on Craigslist or the fact that someone would respond on Craigslist and actually follow through with it. But no, I don't feel bad. The only part that I feel bad about is that there's severe mental illness going on in today's society. And I mean, it was always there, but I'm telling you, it's more prevalent now than ever. And we're somewhat normalizing it, I'll be honest, but that's just my opinions. And I triggered enough people when I shared my opinions a few days ago, so I won't even go down that road. Yeah, Jenny, it is. It was 2009, yeah. Hi, Daniel. All right, so. Yum, Christina. That's what it made me think of, Harlot. So the I don't know, was he Russian? That's still such a fascinating case of, hey, I am looking to kill somebody. I want to eat them, but I am not a killer at heart. So I'm not going to just take someone's life unless they are willing to. And the guy responded and he's like, I want you to take my life. And they recorded on video that, yes, we're both willing participants. They chopped off his manhood, fried it up, sat down at a candlelit dinner as they both ate this guy's penis. And then the guy got into the tub as a willing participant and let the guy kill him. And I would love to be able to go over that court case because he was still charged, but I don't know. It makes me feel like if you have proof that this guy, but I guess it goes into the same thing as like assisted suicide, things like that. You can't do that. But oh yeah. Like what an interesting case. But I don't know. Is it really fucked up of me to say that, like, hey, part of me appreciates, instead of acting on, they ate him together. Like the guys who was killed ate himself. Okay. But part of me is like, yeah, and neither of them really particularly enjoyed the penis, okay? But after the guy killed the other one, he eventually like dismembered and ate the rest of him, like stored him in the freezer long term. No, they had like vegetables, like they were ready to go. It was a candlelit dinner as this guy is bleeding out, but that's what he wanted. Yeah, it was too chewy. It was too chewy, which I could imagine, come on. But part of me is like, hey, I respect a little bit that you didn't act on impulse and you weren't a killer, but you had this extreme desire. I feel so fucked up even saying it. Yeah, meat sauce, obviously. but he's like, listen, I'm not a killer. I'm not just gonna take someone's life. But if one of you fucked up people who want to volunteer, I don't know. Well, that's funny that you say that, because there are other cases I could talk to you about where I could tell you specific seasonings that were used to cook human flesh. I just don't know if that's appropriate or if you guys want to ever go that deep into the conversation, but I've had these discussions before. And there is a case where a human head was in what kind of pots are those called? Like where you would cook like a roast. And it was paired with vegetables and things like that. So, or, you know what? All right, I'll just keep going. We'll cut it off. We'll cut it off because I'll keep going about this topic. It's very interesting. All right. We got a couple of things to talk about. I don't know if I should start with that or if I should probably skip over it because I don't want to cause issues, but at the same time, it pissed me off. I cut it off. No pun intended, though. I could gadget 100%. Well, Taylor didn't. She cut things off, but she didn't cook it. Like there's a difference between cannibalism, like people who, yes, that's what I was thinking of. Catherine Knight. If you don't know who Catherine Knight is, look into it. All right. I'll just say this without getting into all this. What I will say, creator to creator etiquette. Okay. I don't want drama from it, but I will say this. It is highly disrespectful to take messages or screenshots. I don't care how they got to you, but Patreon is not a public platform. Patreon is not YouTube. Patreon is a private platform. And it's where people pay and you get away from YouTube and you get a smaller group of people where you talk and you feel safe. What is not okay, and again, I don't care how it got to you, to accept screenshots from my private Patreon. And again, let me be clear for anyone who isn't in there. It's not about what's in the screenshot. It has nothing to do with that. What it has to do with making my Patreon members feel uncomfortable. You do not take screenshots out of a private platform that they're paying for that exclusivity and then bring it public. And so I will say, as a fellow creator, that is fucked up to do. And you would think that you would know better, especially if you have that Patreon yourself, right? Nobody, as a creator, wants people in their Patreon taking screenshots, funneling it out, and then using it as content. Right, it's behind a paywall. It's outside of YouTube. And it should not be done. And honestly, it should not take me saying it for that to be understood. So I apologize for everyone who is in my Patreon. especially anyone who was included in the screenshots. It's unacceptable. The person who took the screenshots, here's the difference. The person who took the screenshots, I wasn't even aware that she was in my Patreon. It was Raquel. Yeah, YouTube Streets did that, Kimmy Jack. So again, not trying to get into drama right now, but that was inappropriate. And it was brought publicly to YouTube, put out there publicly by YouTube, and it wasn't okay to do. So I will publicly address it, apologize to anybody specifically in the screenshots. I won't drop your name, but it is unacceptable. And honestly, with Raquel, she's mentally ill. Hello, that is obvious. But honestly, Lisa Marie, like, let me be clear. She is mentally ill. It's not. Why do you don't think I could have had her up on my platform? She's been emailing me for months. And what did I say, right? I said, I want to do my best to relay what she's saying to me, because I did say anytime I'm about to read something of yours or go through something of yours, you have the right to reach out to me and give me your side, and I will do my best to be fair. I said that. So I did my best to stand on that, while at the same time acknowledging there's serious mental health issues going on here, and I don't want to exploit her. Okay? I relayed to you guys, hey, this is what she's saying. Like, in so many words, this is what she's saying. She wants you guys to know that this isn't how she meant it when she said X, Y, and Z. But I don't want to get into all of that because she's mentally ill. And I'm not saying that in a mean way, versus I'm not mad at Raquel. I didn't know she was in there. She's now removed, but I feel like that would be unfair. She's not in her right state of mind. Anybody would know that. I'm upset at YouTube Streets because as a fellow creator, you should know better. I would never accept screenshots from your Patreon, a private platform exclusively for paying members outside of YouTube, and then put it publicly. How do you think that made my Patreon members feel, especially the ones in the screenshots? That's not fair, and I want to ensure my audience and my members that they're safe, and they don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about having screenshots of someone who's clearly mentally ill and then have it be exploited, because that's all it is you're taking a mental illness, someone who is clearly not in the right state of mind. And I have not shared with you guys the types of emails I have gotten. If you knew the types of emails, which I see who CC'd on them, and they are CC'd on them. So I know exactly what they are aware of. And it is very clear she is sick. Not in a mean way, but she is sick. So what do you think is going to happen when you bring someone up there? Death threats? Again, I laugh because I'm, not a big deal, whatever. But death threats, and now you're sharing stuff from my Patreon. Let's not do that. So as fellow creator etiquette, which is really sad that I feel like I even have to do this, that wasn't right. That wasn't cool, and I don't appreciate it. And I apologize to my Patreon members. So that's that, and I'll move forward. Okay. No solo angel mom, but again, Raquel, if you guys understood the emails that I've gotten, and I know that they've been CC'd on again, she's truly ill to the point where, would you get mad at someone, and I'll use schizophrenia. I'm not saying she has schizophrenia. I'm saying, would you get mad at someone when they have a schizophrenic episode? Of course it's scary. You're allowed to have your boundaries. You don't have to be around them, but you're aware that, hey, they're talking to themselves over there, they're going back and forth with the voice. You're not gonna necessarily get mad if all of a sudden they have an outburst and kind of walk past you, right? Because you're aware there's something more going on. That is how I look at Raquel. I'm not going to put her up. I'm not going to have her up on the platform, and I'm not going to exploit her mental illness, because that is what that is. You're exploiting a mental illness, and I will not be a part of that. So she's different from the rest of the Wade wives. I don't know. I'm not saying none of them are mentally ill, but it's clear that something more is going on there. And I will not sacrifice my morals and values for clicks and views. I will not do it. Sorry. You guys can get that elsewhere. You're not going to get it here. All right. So let's start with this. And that's what it is. Some beach Holly. She can't, I don't believe she can help it. That doesn't mean it's okay. Let me be clear. That doesn't mean anything that she says is okay. It doesn't mean that I accept it. I agree with it. But two things can be true at the same time. I can acknowledge there is an underlying issue there and just not engage with that. But what do you think is going to happen when you see the emails that you see she's emailing you privately saying what she's saying, because her private emails are not better. What do you think is going to happen when you put her up on a platform? That is what's going to happen. Melissa's going to get killed by aliens. Like, here's her Patreon, which again, I didn't even know she was in the Patreon. Did you know that she was chilling idly in there for 3 months? Because I didn't. I can't possibly know every single person that joins. Sometimes you could join with just like 3 letters. It's not always obvious who is who. But you know exactly what you were getting when you put her up on that platform. So again, creator etiquette. Yes, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't even know that she was in there, but she won't pop really off until you give her that attention, which is usually what is the circumstances. That's why you don't platform people like that. You don't push them for content. You don't put them up there because this will get clicks. We'll get money, right? Fuck that. Fuck that. And then what? Be surprised when she makes death threats. Be surprised when she takes private platform screenshots, bring it public. But you as a creator should know better. Sorry, you should. Okay, so let's start here. She didn't when she was here, Andrea, to be fair. She didn't when she was here. She was kind of fine when she was here. And I won't block really anyone from my chat unless they really give me a reason to. I don't like to block people. But she, as far as I recall, she didn't ever take anything over the line. But that's what I'm saying, though. But if I popped her up on this platform and I started engaging with her in a way where I know I'd get a response, that would have been different. No shit, that would have been different. Oh, with Patreon, I had no idea she was in there until I was told she was in there. And then having back and forth. And then as soon as I realized that she took screenshots out, I went in and I blocked her. Shout out Natasha, caught that. And I appreciate that. Thank you, Natasha. But as soon as I realized, but you know how we realize? Because it was put up on YouTube Sheets, which is not, again, if they came running to me with a bunch of screenshots from another creator's Patreon, I'm not going to put them up. It's just not right to do. Right. Well, that's what I heard. I didn't watch it, but what I can tell you is I have the emails and they have been CC'd. If you don't know what CC'd means, it means that when Raquel sends an email, it sends to both of us. So I know everything that's been sent, at least that I'm privy to. They knew. And I don't like it. Hey, Daryl. Yeah. But all right. And when I say that, please, I don't want anyone to badmouth. And you guys are allowed to go where you want. Please do. I'm not trying to make anyone feel uncomfortable. I know that there's overlap, and that's totally fine. But it was brought public, so I have the right to address it and say, hey, that wasn't cool. My apologies to my Patreon members that were affected. And that's that. So let's just move on. All right. So first up, we have this post. Okay. Leah. And this is about, and I show, why is my screen not showing for you guys? No, don't unsub. I'm not asking. I hate, sorry, not to single you out, Madonna. I hate when a creator says something maybe about another creator, and that's why I don't usually like to do it at all. But I don't want anyone to do that. Go where you want to go. Follow who you want to follow. I don't like, like cult mentalities where just because I say something, you guys have to agree. You don't. I'm not trying to get you guys to do that. I just wanted to address it though. But if it never happened, I never would have had to address it. Just saying. So it's putting all of us in an unfair position because I don't like doing that to subscribers. Okay. Hold on one second, guys. Okay. So this is from Leah. And it says, "Hello, dear supporters. We're here with something very interesting that we want to share openly. Hello, Harley. As you all know well, we do not participate in gossip. And we never start harassment or anything like that. But there are moments that we simply cannot ignore or not share, especially when it involves people from so-called teams that support Wade, but in reality are false supporters. Thanks to our loyal supporters who are our eyes everywhere and bring us very interesting information, we learned about a certain situation. Does everyone know Jackson? I don't. Does everyone understand his stance? No, I don't know. Do you guys know Jackson? I don't know Jackson. When the verdict was being delivered, he was there, fully believing that Wade was guilty. And he has held this opinion ever since. And you know that he is a very good friend of Tommy, right? Aw, thank you. Thank you, Knuckle Sandwich. Congratulations. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Ooh. Other than that, I don't know what other Jackson. Who dat? I don't know. But congratulations. Thank you so much, Knuckle Sandwich. So he was there fully believing that Wade was guilty, and he had this opinion ever since. Okay. And you know that he is a very good friend of Tommy, right? Yes, the same very Tommy who, before Wade's arrest, tried to him, who said in one of the live streams that Wade would never see the daylight again and that he would finish him off if Wade was released. Jake? Who's Jake, Carolyn Cooper? I looked at the mugshot they put up. Yes, but he looked like any. I don't know. So I don't remember who's Jackson. I don't remember Jackson. Dude, there's so many names. So it says now, and thank you. Shout out to. I know there's a couple of you who always send me the screenshots from the groups or whatnot. Thank you all so much. It's very appreciated. Yay, Kara! Congratulations. Now here's the question: do you think it's right that a supporter? Undercover team's Dianita, who is part of the German team that pursued us, tried to destroy us, called every one of our actions a fake, and portrayed themselves as righteous people, is now spending time with this very Jackson on a live stream? Hey, Delara. Sitting, talking, watching, listening. A person who believes Wade is guilty. How do you feel about this? How do you view the actions of someone who defends Wade while associating with Jackson? Again, I don't know what the... Oh, thank you, Daryl. I really don't know what the relevance here is of Jackson and why they're so mad. Please, if you guys know, help me out because I'm lost on this one. But thank you so much, Daryl. Congratulations. Oh, no. Okay, there we go. I have no idea who Jackson. I don't know. I'm just going to roll with it, though. So, next. Nope, not that. That's from Idaho. So it says, moreover, Other figures, Annie Mae, have also been noticed who claim to support Wade, but for some reason are also interacting with Jackson. That says a lot, doesn't it? Jake Jackson, friend of Tommy and Mila. Okay. Friend of Tommy and Mila. I don't know that name though. Jake Jackson. How do I not know that name? Tommy has mentioned Jake before. All right, you guys know better than I do. Huh. Hey, Twisted Stitches. Well, realize that Annie Mae's name. Oh, is she here? Yeah. I'm not accusing you of anything, cool person, right? I know. I read your emails. But to be fair, you did say you were never going to message me again, right? And so I was hoping you wouldn't hear that because I'm not trying to push you into a worse place, honestly. So if I could suggest, I wouldn't watch. Not because I'm intentionally trying to be mean versus I don't think it's good for anyone's mental health. So just the Tommy and the Mateo graphics guy and the other guy from Big Fish Catch. Okay. Hi, Amanda. So they tagged that Annie Mae being in blue. That means it is a person in that group that they're actually openly tagging and calling out. That's okay, CP. Okay, cool person. I'll consider it. So it says, our position remains unchanged. Thanks, little D. I can't stay. Play a league. I just wanted to say I love your channel. Oh, thank you so much, little D. So our position remains unchanged. You will never find anything dirty from our side or anything that could undermine trust. We've stood firm in our positions for a long time, and we have the full support of Wade himself. We cannot allow people like this to be around him. That's why, of course, Wade will receive all this material and see for himself who is who. Okay. Know the heroes by face and do not let fake people infiltrate your circle. We must be mindful of who we associate with and who we support. Trust is not something given lightly. That's all for now. Respectfully, your official WadeWilson team at everyone. I love how they say that. Like, oh, trust and respect, that's not given. It's earned. But like you gave it to a double murderer who has openly confessed how many times and has planned to kill again how many times. And thank you so much, Lisa Marie. I hate that I can't see who gets it, like on this end, but congratulations, whoever got it. Gidget, stop putting me on blast. Nothing. Not doing nothing. So ... are, and your name reminds me of my pretzels, baby. But ... are the Wade wives still a thing? Yes, and no, they still exist. Now, are they all united and like a team? Sometimes. It depends on what day. But yeah, oh yeah. Listen, just chill for 1 second. Let me put it in a Ziploc bag and you guys will never know. All right, it'll be done in a second. For a red light to say hi, Tiffany. Not dummies. Okay, so let's see, what did they post, right? What is this? Good. What? Luminous? Oh my God. See, I have Prime, so I don't have to pay the shipping. So I just ordered 3 more bags for like $15. It's a great deal. Hi, Carrie. All right, so Gidget. Sorry. I thought I was doing inconspicuous. Yes, I do. Just open up your hands. I'll yeet them out. All right, so what do we have here, right? What kind of evidence did they drop? Okay, I'm guessing this is Jackson. I don't know why I thought more in my mind like Grey's Anatomy Jackson, but well, I guess he'll do. The things she said Wade said to her to talk her into bailing him out, I had no doubt that he would do that to Jesse or whoever if he had a chance. Oh, 100%. You're welcome. I'm telling you. Neither do I, Harlot, but like it's hard when you're aware there are situations where something like that's needed, but then there's so much gray area, and it's the gray area that could be really concerning, Oh, is it not, Gidget? I know, Raquel, but like you said, to be fair, your definition of stalking, and I know from the emails, is not the same as a legal definition of stalking. So, but I don't really know why you're here, but really, Morale. That's crazy. Okay. So we have Jake effin Jackson. This looks like a TikTok live. You see Undercover's team. How are you? I don't really know what they're trying to show here other than, I guess, Jackson himself. Then we have this one. Oh, no, I guess they're focusing on this person. Undercover's team, save Wade. Oh, so it's supposed to be a Wade supporter. And how dare you? How dare you support Jackson as a Wade supporter? Then we got top viewers. Ooh, see? TikTok is a snitch. That's why, well, no, I don't use it just because I'm lazy and I don't like going to a whole nother platform. But something about TikTok is it's a snitch. It tells you who is watching. Okay, Raquel. Again, respectfully, it's probably best not to be here. Especially if it's a topic that you feel so passionately on. I don't think we're going to come eye to eye. So I wonder which Sarah is, if this is that Sarah. I'm curious if this is the Sarah. Ooh, smart, Tara. Okay. So then we have another Save Wade person, Annie, and this is the one that they called out. Thanks, Toasty Buns. MJ, your 9/11 series on Patreon is amazing. Thank you. We're going to do another episode soon. It's been way too long, but thank you so much. That's an amazing compliment, and I really do appreciate it. And thanks for being a member for a month. Okay. And I think, oh no, they posted this. I guess this is okay. So this is Daniel Jake Jackson. He was arrested in Lake County. Okay. So is this all that this is? They're just mad at him? Yeah, so there's that. And then this one, Leah, which honestly, like, I don't know. I don't know why I would have expected to have clarity on what they're trying to say. I'm so sorry, Rainstorm, but not at all at the same time. Thank you, Christina, for a half a year. Stop trying to make fetch happen. I don't know, Gidget, and I wish I had some context for you guys. Like, hey, this is why. I don't know why they care. But let's move on. Then we have open. Perfect. We have the initial brief. Thank you for a year. Hell yeah, you got the golden. Well, I don't know what it is, but the golden milestone. Thank you, Ropes Gal. Woohoo! And thank you, Callie. Still waiting for the Dorothy. Oh my God, I know. Well, we went all the way back for Tisha, and we'll have to catch back up with that because we stopped right before Dr. Dorothy Lewis, and then we were like, let's go all the way back to the beginning. But I will finish that out. Yeah, the golden thingy. Okay. So before we get into the other stuff, right, we have the initial brief filed by Ufferman. Okay. No, Scott, because. And Scott says, can we get Raquel up to explain those emails? And I'm saying no, because that wouldn't happen. All right, don't talk about any kids or anything like that. Nobody, like literally, to be fair, Raquel, you're the only person talking about Jesse. We're not even talking about Jesse right now, okay? But please control yourself, because I don't want to have to remove you, but I will, because I just don't want to go down this road. Okay, everyone's allowed their opinions, but I'm not going to let my chat get derailed, and that's exactly what's happening. So we have Ufferman, who filed the initial brief, okay? Just leave it alone, please. Thanks, Jack. Did you guys hear that MJ finally sent me a bagel and it was all moldy and gross? Liar. This is what I meant, overnight shipping. I did not. But thank you. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, that's what I was saying to Scott, because it would never, there would be no explanation in a way where you would be satisfied. That's not what it's gonna. Yeah. Thank you, Jahara. Okay, so here we go. We have the initial brief, Michael Ufferman. So let's see. We got table of contents, cases, statutes, other authority. But I want to jump down to the statement of the case and statement of the facts. So let's see what Ufferman is going to be arguing. I'm not going to go through all the case law. I won't bore you guys. But let's see the statement of fact. These are the statutes. Okay. So Wade Stephen Wilson, herein appellant Wilson, was charged in Lee County with 2 counts of first-degree murder, counts 1 and 4. 1 count of grand theft of a motor vehicle, count 2, 1 count of battery, count 3, and 1 count of burglary, count 5, and 1 count of petty theft, count 6. So the offenses occurred on October 7, 2019. The victims of the 2 murder offenses were KristineMelton and DianeRuiz. At trial, appellant Wilson was represented by Lee Hollander, Esquire, and Kevin Shirley, Esquire. The state was represented by, and it references to the record on appeal will be made. Okay. The grand theft was related to Okay, we know that already. So the state was represented by Assistant State Attorneys Sarah Miller and Andreas Gardner. The Honorable Nicholas Thompson presided over the trial. So the trial began on June 3rd, 2025. And let me be clear, for anyone who isn't familiar with the appellate courts, you cannot enter new evidence. There isn't like, oh, I'm going to get a new trial. No. Appeals is for an error that was essentially made during trial. Okay, that you could. Yeah. So it's not any new evidence can be admitted or anything like that versus the trial that already took place, looking through those transcripts, something maybe with the attorney, something with the judge, maybe something just like kind of like a potential loophole or an issue that happened. What's our cult name? The Jade's Coven, obviously. Thank you, Andrea. Yes, Kesley. That's her. That's her. In a nutshell, that's her. So it says, at the conclusion of the guilt phase, the jury found WadeWilson guilty as charged for all counts. So the penalty phase began on June 24th and concluded on the 25th. At the conclusion of the penalty phase, the jury recommended the death penalty. For the murder count relating to KristineMelton, the jury unanimously found WadeWilson was previously convicted of a felon and under sentence of imprisonment or placed on community control or on felony probation, and 2 unanimously found that WadeWilson was previously convicted of another capital felony or a felony involving the use or threat of violence to the person, and 3 unanimously found that the murder was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, and the jury found by a vote of 9-3 that appellant Wilson should be sentenced to death. For the murder count relating to DianeRuiz, the jury unanimously found, again, all of the same things, and they found the murder was committed in a cold, calculated, and premeditated manner without any pretense of moral or legal justification. And the jury was found by a vote of 10-2 that Wilson should be sentenced to death. Okay. So the Spencer sentencing hearing was held on the 27th of August, and the trial court sentenced Wilson to death for both murder counts, and the trial court rendered a detailed sentencing order that weighed the relevant aggravating and mitigating circumstances. So statements of the facts, the guilt phase, jury selection. Okay, so the jury was selected, trial court gave preliminary instructions, then we had the state's case in chief. So Joshua Luckett stated that one of his friends previously introduced him to WadeWilson, and he said that on October 7, 2019, Wilson approached him at his business on Hancock Bridge Parkway. Mr. Luckett testified that Wilson, quote, was there trying to get a plane ticket or a bus ticket or whatever he could get from me to leave town. And he said that appellant Wilson was wearing sweatpants only, no shoes, no shirt, and he was bloody, and he was missing a couple of teeth. So Luckett stated that Wilson's demeanor was frantic and in a rush to leave as quickly as he could because he had just done something horrific and killed people, and he rolled up someone in a carpet or bedding or whatever it was. Ooh. I love that. As a member of Jadism, I have a shrine with a New York City bagel and dots. You guys are the best. You guys really know how to make a gal feel loved. Thank you. Okay, bless Grandma. What is it, Junk Trunk? Let me see. Yes, blessed Grandma. I'm waiting to see what you were asking. Hi, Neat Noodle. Well, we're about to see, again, that's why this is important to go through. Finally, Offerman's posting. Okay, his initial brief. Let's see what Offerman is going to try to do. Where? It didn't. It said statement of facts, right? It says October 7, 2019. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm too far down. It doesn't. It says the penalty phase, June 24th. Oh, that is an error. Oh, yo, Offerman, you're right. It says 2025. It should be 2024. Ufferman, come on, you're being paid all this money and you didn't even get the year right. Thank you. I just read right over it. Hi, dog defender. You're right. No, it should be 2024. Ufferman, get yourself a paralegal. What are you doing? That's it. He's innocent. But no, this is his own lawyer. Very good catch. Thank you. No, it wouldn't make it null. No, they would let him amend it. It's just an error, in his initial brief. Yeah, his paralegal most likely sent it. Yeah. We're not June. It's from the future, guys. It didn't even happen yet. This is some Raquel shit, actually, to be fair. She probably thinks some crazy conspiracy with this. We convict him again in June 2025. And we just do it all over again. Oh my God. But no, it's not. It's not, because this is from their side. Let me be clear. This is from their side. So no, it's not. It's not the error they've all been waiting for. He fucked up. Hey, I'm down for it. It's that sad. Okay. You did a good job. Blessed grandma. Very nice. His paralegal, Ari. Dude, June 2025 hasn't happened yet. That's such a good catch. I just read right over it. Thank you. Okay. You had one job. Okay, so it says, let's see. So Mr. L, I'm just going to call him L because I hate saying that name. It's hard. Testified that Wilson needed to leave and pick up an employee. And he said that once he separated from Wilson, he called 911. So during Mr. L's testimony, the state played the recording of the 911 call for the jury. Then we have Christopher Anzalone. So Officer Anzalone with the Cape Coral Police Department stated that he responded to the 911 call that was made by Joshua. Officer Anzalone testified that when he arrived at Mr. L's business, he came into contact with Mr. L and he subsequently searched the premises for Wilson. But he said that he was unable to locate him. However, Officer Anzalone stated that he was able to locate the vehicle that Wilson had been driving, the black Nissan Versa. And he said that 1, the vehicle appeared to have blood on it, and 2, the vehicle had front end damage, and 3, a record search established the vehicle was registered to KristineMelton. Officer Anzalone testified that law enforcement officials subsequently attempted to contact Ms. Melton. So we have Patricia Bell, Cape Coral Police Department, testified as part of her investigation with this case. She learned that Christine was out with Stephanie Johnson on the evening of October 6, 2019. Stephanie Johnson. So Miss Johnson, a friend of Christine's, testified that on the evening of Sunday, October 6, she went to Miss Melton's house and the two subsequently went to the Buddha bar in an Uber. Miss Johnson stated that while they were at the bar, they were approached by Wilson, who referred to himself as Junior. Such a loser. Miss Johnson testified that she and Christine then socialized with Wilson, and a man named Jason said that Christine and Wilson seemed to be attracted to each other. Miss Johnson testified that when the bar closed, the four got into a vehicle that she believed belonged to Wilson, a Dodge Hellcat, and Mr. Shepard drove them to his house. Miss Johnson stated that when the four arrived at Miss Shepard's house, they went to Miss Shepard's bedroom, and she said that Miss Melton and Wilson engaged in consensual sex. Miss Johnson testified that she, Christine, and Wilson then left Mr. Shepard's house and took an Uber to Christine's house, and they left the Dodge Hellcat near Mr. Shepard's house. Miss Johnson stated that after the three arrived at Miss Melton's house, the three went inside, and she said that at approximately 6 a.m., she left Christine's house because she had to go home in order to get ready for work. Miss Johnson testified later that day that she attempted to call and text Christine, but she didn't respond. Later in the afternoon, she received a call from a police detective, and she said that based on that call, she went to Christine's house, and she indicated that when she arrived, law enforcement were already present, and they had placed caution tape around the entrance of the house. On cross-examination, Miss Johnson stated that during the time she was with Christine, Wilson, and Shepard, she observed all three of them using cocaine, smoking marijuana, and drinking. I'm sorry, what? Drinking marijuana? Hold on. Hold on. Listen, I haven't poked snot in a long time, but is this a thing? Is this a thing? Wait, please, before I flip out, is this a thing? There are marijuana drinks. I don't smoke weed, but when I do, I drink it. Wait, there are, but was that a thing? I don't remember that. Was that a thing in his case? Yeah, taking shots of marijuana and smoking some vodka. Yeah, I've never heard of that before. You don't drink your Mary Jane? God. Oh my God. I didn't know that was a thing, but was it a thing for him? I think he meant to write. It wasn't a thing in his case. Yeah. I think he meant to write drinking alcohol, using cocaine, smoking marijuana, and drinking alcohol. All right. Offerman, you're 2 for 2 right now. Come on, dude. Come on. Like, you had one job. $100,000 for this? Come on. On the rocks. He definitely meant alcohol. Let's go drink some pot, man. Oh my God. I would be pissed with that many mistakes already, yeah. And I skipped over a lot. God only knows what was in the parts I skipped over. Okay. So she observed all 3 of them using cocaine, smoking marijuana, and drinking marijuana. Okay, this is serious. Jason Shepard. Mr. Shepard stated that on the evening of October 6, 2019, he was at the Buddha Bar and he met Stephanie, Christine, and Wilson, who referred to himself as Junior. Mr. Shepard testified that when the bar closed, the 4 went back to his house. When the 4 arrived at the house, Christine and Wilson went to his room and engaged in consensual sex. And he said that he and Miss Johnson went to the backyard and talked. Miss Shepard testified that between 3 and 4, the other 3 left his house. So then we have Charles Caruso. Sergeant Caruso, Cape Coral Police Department, testified he and other law enforcement officials responded to Christine's house. And he said that after they entered the house, they discovered Miss Melton's dead body under a large bundle of sheet and clothes. Nicholas Malone. Detective Malone, Cape Coral Police Department, testified part of his investigation in this case. He interviewed Wilson's parents, Stephen and Melanie Testasica, which I could never pronounce their name. Testasica. No, I just sound like I'm saying Tessa's name. Testica. Nope. We're just going to leave it there. Christina Potts. Miss Potts, a forensic technician with the Cape Coral Police Department, testified that she responded to Christine's house, and she said that when she arrived at the house, she took photographs of the scene and collected evidence. And during Miss Potts' testimony, the photographs and evidence were shown to the jury. Miss Potts stated that after processing Christine's house, she obtained buccal swabs from WadeWilson. Noelia Hernandez. Dr. Hernandez, a medical examiner, stated that she conducted the autopsy on KristineMelton. And Dr. Hernandez gave the following conclusion regarding Christine's cause of death. Quote, based on what I was explaining earlier in the neck, how she had hemorrhaged extending from the superficial muscles all the way to the deep muscles, as well as the bruising on the outside of her neck. And also she had petechia on one of her eyelids and petechia on her scalp. It's all of her autopsy findings taken together are consistent with death by asphyxia due to compression on the neck. So Luis Toboado let's try that again. Luis Toboado Rodriguez So Mr. Rodriguez stated that on the 7th of October, he went to his daughter's elementary school, and he said that when he was at the school, he noticed a woman's purse laying in the middle of the road by the entrance of the school, and he explained that he retrieved the purse and turned it into the school. Dawn Griffin. Miss Griffin stated October of 2019, she was working at Benson and Associates, an interior design company. On October 7th, she arrived at 6:30 a.m. to work, and she said that approximately 7:30 a.m. she observed a man who was not wearing a shirt and who had several tattoos pass close by the door of her office building. Miss Griffin stated that she then heard a voice, and she said that when she looked outside, she could see the man and another person with blonde hair struggling with each other. Miss Griffin testified that after observing the struggle, she called 911. So we have Amy Slababzian. Why are all these names like particularly hard, or they're just particularly hard for me? But okay. Amy Slabadosian. Miss Amy, a friend of Mila's, right, stated that on the evening of October 6th, she went to the Buddha bar to meet Mila. Miss Amy testified that when she arrived at the bar, Mila introduced her to Wilson. Amy stated that when the bar closed, she observed Mila standing outside, and she said that Mila told her Wilson took her vehicle, the Dodge Hellcat. Yes, Harlot, it's a hard one. And he left. So Amy testified that she then offered to drive Mila back to her house, and she said that when they arrived at her house, Mila slept on her sofa. Amy stated that the following morning, she drove Mila to the spa that she owned, where Mila was going to meet Wilson and retrieve her vehicle. Amy testified that when they arrived at the spa, she observed Wilson, but he was driving a different vehicle than the one that belongs to Mila. He was driving Christine. So Amy stated the following occurred. Wilson, Mila got out of, hold on. No. Oh, okay. So Mila got out of my vehicle and went to the driver's side window of the vehicle that Wilson was sitting in. Question, what did you see? Amy, she was just trying to get her stuff, and they were just having words back and forth, and then he tried to pull her in the window. How did she respond? She started fighting immediately. Okay, what else did she do? She wound up falling backwards, and then Wade got out of the vehicle after her, but the car wasn't in park. It was actually still rolling, so it almost ran them over. And then he slammed it into park and went after her immediately. He was ripping her dress off of her. He was pulling her hair. Her extensions were everywhere, all over the ground. And then he proceeded to drag her from the parking lot to the stairs, up the stairs. She was holding onto the banister like a monkey, trying to hold on, and he just kept ripping her more and more to the door upstairs. Amy additionally claimed that Wilson told her that he would kill her if she got out of the vehicle, and Wilson punched Mila in the face. Amy stated that she proceeded to call 911, and she said that when Wilson heard the sirens, he got back into the black Nissan and drove away. So Mila stated she drove Wilson to the Buddha bar in the Dodge Hellcat. Mila testified that when the bar closed, Wilson asked her to go with him to Jason Shepard's house, but when Mila declined, she said that Wilson stole her vehicle so that he and 3 other people could drive the vehicle to Jason's house. Mila stated that Amy was also at the bar that evening, and she said that Amy offered to let her spend the night at her house. Mila testified that the following morning she agreed to meet Wilson at the spa that she owned so that she could retrieve her vehicle. Mila stated that when she arrived at the spa, she saw Wilson, but he was not driving her vehicle. Mila testified that she approached Wilson and questioned where her vehicle was, and she said that he asked her to get in the Nissan, and she explained that she refused. He became violent, punched her, choked her. Mila stated that Wilson subsequently left the spa, and she said that law enforcement officials arrived at the spa shortly thereafter. How are we doing, guys? All right, so I'm going to kind of just like jump through because I know we know a lot of this information. Tyler, Cape Coral Police, He was at the Hector Cafferata Elementary School. That's regarding he turned into the purse, right? He had realized the purse belonged to DianeRuiz. They found her address, and it was close to the school, so he went to her house. She was not at the house, but her son, Brandon, was. He left the purse with Brandon. He told him that Diane works at the Moose Lodge, and he subsequently went to the lodge to determine if she was at work, but he said that the other employees informed him that she failed to show up to work that day. So then we have Brandon, which is Diane's son. He lived with his mom, and his mom worked at the Moose Lodge, and he said his mom walked to work between 9:30 and 11 a.m., and later that morning, law enforcement officials knocked on his door to inform him that his mother's purse had been found in the road by a nearby elementary school. We had Scott, the fiance of Diane. He was living with Diane and her son, and at approximately noon, he received communications relating to Diane's purse being found and her possibly being missing. We have Patrick. Mr. Power stated that his house is located to an empty lot with bushes and shrubs. He said on the morning he observed a vehicle back out of the empty lot and then drive away. He testified that 3 days later, he observed local law enforcement officials gathered, and he proceeded to tell them what he observed. Justin DeRosso, Cape Coral Police Department, he assisted in searching that empty lot to find Diane. After searching the lot for 20 minutes, he and other law enforcement officials located Diane's body. Jacqueline Fordham, supervisor of the Forensics and Evidence Unit, testified she responded to the empty lot where Diane's body was found. She said that when she arrived, she supervised other local law enforcement who took photos of the scene, collected evidence, and during their testimony, that was all shown. Thomas Coyne, medical examiner, conducted the autopsy of Diane, testified that Diane had multiple rib fractures that were consistent with being run over by a vehicle, and she had injuries to her neck that were consistent with being strangled. Shayna, she was working at Benson and Associates. There was a commotion outside of her building on the morning of the 7th, and she said that she went outside to investigate. She observed another woman from the office, altercation with Wade. It's Mila. He was grabbing Mila by the throat, and she heard Mila trying to scream, "He's trying to kill me." She told the man to stop, and she said that Mila was able to run away. She explained that both her and Mila ran into Miss Williamson's building, and they locked the door. So Timothy McCormick, officer at the Fort Myers Police Department, he received information indicating that WadeWilson was at Joe's Crab Shack. He testified that he responded to the shack, came in contact with Wilson, who was sitting in a vehicle, and he explained that during this interaction, Wade, he was seen wearing, because he was wearing body cam footage. Oh, and that was played for the jury. During his interaction, Wade seemed nervous and a little defensive and uncooperative. He testified that he was attempting to detain Wilson when he fled the scene. Fanny Amlin lives in Cape Coral. She left her house on the morning of the 7th to go out to town. She said that she later received a call from law enforcement informing her that WadeWilson had broken into her house. During Miss Amlin's testimony, the state presented pictures that were taken of her house and WadeWilson having been there, and pictures were established that WadeWilson drank 5 cans of White Claw seltzer. Okay, just checking in. How we doing? I'm waiting to get to the point where Ufferman is going to make his argument of the appeal, you know. Hi, Jane. No, the 7th of October. Oh. Well, no. She had received the information on October 17th. Well, wait. I'm not sure. She had left her house on October 7th. But this one says on the 17th, he was at Joe's Crab Shack. Okay. So Steve Teseka. Oh, that was close, right? I've never had a White Claw either. I don't. Maybe Jahara, maybe, but the appeal has to be based on something. I appreciate your apology, but the apology doesn't have to go to me. The apology would go towards the Patreon because you took screenshots, especially of lore, but that's open for interpretation, and so everyone's entitled to their opinion. I appreciate the apology though, but lore's interpretation that I'm gonna get killed by aliens is a death threat, and so I hear what you're saying as far as you didn't intend for it to be a death threat, but Testaseca. Did I do it? Natasha. You're gonna upset Natasha. I'm trying, man. Okay. No, she was not doing anything wrong at all. Oh, it's all out there, Harley. Like, we've gone over it before. Thanks, Shay, and welcome. Okay, while we take a second, if you haven't hit that thumbs up, please take a second to do it. Thank you all for being here. I will gift out a Patreon. I know that. I'm not sure. I have to check whose Patreon I have left over to gift, so I want to make sure I'm crediting the right person because we're going to Patreon after. I mean, again, I guess that's open. Well, thank you. Thank you for apologizing to the Patreon members. I'll take what I could get. Thank you. Yeah, but I'm just going to focus on this. So, Stephen Testaseca. Sorry, it's going to come out a little rough because I have to try. I know you did. I know. We were both included. So, Mr. Testaseca. I'm sorry, I have to say it like that for the pronunciation to work. Which is Wade's biological father, stated that he was 14 or 15 when he found out he was going to be a father. And he said that Wade's biological mother, a year younger than him at the time, Steve, I'm just going to say Steve, explained that due to their young age, he and Wade's biological mother placed Wilson for adoption. And he said that Wilson was adopted by Candy and Steve. Steve stated that he reconnected and formed a relationship with Wade when he turned 18 years old. On the evening of October 7th, Wade called him and said the following. He just told me, he did something. There was 2 people gone that would not be back. He said, I'm a killer. Steve said that Wade called him again and told him that he choked KristineMelton at her house. Steve testified that during the second call, Wade also made the following admission regarding Diane. He said he saw her walking down the street and stopped and asked her for directions, and she got in the car with him. Questioned by the prosecutor, what did he say happened when she got in the car with him? He said he reached over and choked her. And did he tell you that he choked her while he was driving? Yes, ma'am. Now, what did he say happened after he choked her? He said he was looking for a place to put her body. Did he find a place where he eventually dumped her body? Yes, ma'am. What did he tell you about the situation when he got to the place where he was going to dump her body? He said that he pulled her out of the car and realized that she was still breathing. So what did he tell you he did when he realized she was still breathing? He said he got back in the car and ran her over until she looked like spaghetti. It's a rough one, sorry. So Steve stated that he learned that at the time of the 2 phone calls, Wade was in a house that he had broken into in order to escape from law enforcement officials. Steve testified that he decided that he needed to tell law enforcement about phone calls with Wade. Therefore, in an effort to learn the address from Wade when he was calling, he told Wade that he would send an Uber driver to pick him up and bring him to his house. Steve stated that Wade gave him the address. He and his wife provided the address to law enforcement. This is all the Wade wives who say, This is all the Wade wives who say, you know, like, oh, how dare your dad? You know, your dad. How many emails have we read with them saying your dad's a piece of shit? I can't believe he did that to you. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Mods, use your best judgment. If you have to remove someone, you know, just remove them and we'll figure it out later. But do what you got to do. I do too, Carolyn Cooper, because I couldn't imagine how difficult this must have been. Please don't disrespect people in the chat. I'm trying, but I don't want it to derail like that. So please just use your best judgment, guys. So Fordham with the Cape Coral Police Department, he apprehended Wilson. Daniel, criminalist with the Indian River Crime Laboratory, assigned to conduct DNA and testing various pieces of evidence relating to Wilson. Wade's DNA was found on clothing that was surrounding the area where Kristine's body was found. Diane's DNA was found on the passenger door of KristineMelton's black Nissan Versa. Then we have Jameson Lazenby, worked at the Lake County Jail. He came into contact with Wilson at the jail, and he said that Wilson asked him to arrange a meeting so he could talk to the detectives who were investigating the case. And he arranged that meeting. We have Nicholas Jones, Cape Coral Police. Wade said that he wanted to meet with him at jail. Excuse me. He went to the jail, interviewed Wade, and it's recorded. And during the interview, Wade said the following regarding Diane. Truth is, I picked the girl up, but I picked her up somewhere by the school, you know, not far from the school, the street down. She brought me to the school and I choked her out until she couldn't breathe anymore and she fell asleep, you know. She wasn't fully dead yet. Then I brought her and she was still alive and I pushed her out of the car and she tried to get out. I ran her over with the car. I ran her over like 10 times, 10, 20 times, her head and her body. I ran it over with the vehicle so she was not going anywhere. It wasn't just disfigured, her whole body. She couldn't get up. She was dead for sure. Then I left. Okay. It is CB. It is. Hey, Destination. Oh, Lord. So, Wade admitted to killing Kristine, and during the interview, Wade said that he was on drugs at the time. So, at the conclusion of Master Corporal Jones' testimony, the state rested. The defense rested without presenting any witnesses. Okay, good. So, the closing arguments, parties gave their closing arguments, and the trial court instructed the jury, and they found him guilty as charged for all counts. Penalty phase preliminary instructions. Okay. Then we have the state's case in chief. He testified she is a forensic specialist. And during Lansky's testimony, confirmed that Wade's fingerprints matched the fingerprints from 2 prior criminal judgments. We had Kristine's cousin provided a victim impact statement. Diane's son Zane provided victim impact statement. And at the conclusion, the state rested. So the Wade's case in chief, they had Hyman Eisenstein, licensed clinical psychologist with a specialty in clinical neuropsychology and forensic neuropsychology, stated that he conducted an evaluation of WadeWilson, and he opined the following based on his evaluation. My ultimate conclusion is that Mr. Wilson has neurocognitive brain impairments, most likely right hemispheric and also frontal lobe involvement. There's enough data to support that his brain is not functioning like a normal, healthy individual. It's supported by the fact that he's had multiple head injuries and there is a synergistic effect. Each one adds on more than just a cumulative, but it exponentially gets worse. And throughout his life, he's had multiple head injuries, and brain scans have been performed, although these are just CT scans, nothing more than that. And he said that because it didn't show anything. This is also complicated, certainly, by his drug usage over his life, as well as psychiatric conditions, which are numerous. And currently, he's on medication. He's been on medication for many, many years to quiet his brain, to have his brain functioning, to try to have him at least at the state of ease in terms of his brain functioning, which he recognizes, and certainly the family recognizes. The family recognizes is abnormal. I'm sorry, what? And the family recognizes is abnormal. Whatever that means. Okay. That's a great, well, right now he's just doing the statement of facts on Beach Holly. So it's not, Ufferman's input hasn't been here yet versus just this. These are the facts of the case. So Mark Mills, forensic psychiatrist, stated that he conducted an evaluation of Wilson. He says, my diagnosis and belief is that Wade has some type of psychotic disorder. Sadly, because he was not particularly forthcoming with me, I can't characterize it very well. Generally, when I testify, I have more information from both the evaluate, but from the defendant in a case like this. And I have more information from prior hospital records, from Baker Act hospitalizations, from other psychiatric hospitalizations, and I can characterize that disorder pretty well. Here, we've heard about mood swings that could suggest bipolar disorder. We've heard about a diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder in the jail records. There's a good study going back to really my time in medical school called The Stages of Mania, which says in a 1972 is the date of the study, you can't distinguish acutely between schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and schizoaffective disorder. So I don't know exactly what Wade has, but I think it's very significant. And I think it's a psychotic level illness. And his degree of paranoia, we have come to all the examples yet, but some of the examples the parents told me about are quite striking. I'll give you one, that at some point, Wade's mother, Candy's father, perished, and the family moved into his home. And in the morning, everybody would get up, and I guess people would go to school, and she would, of course, Mrs. Wilson would go up and make breakfast for the family and would open the curtains, and the house would sort of be functioning. Well, Mr. Wilson, as a kid, and he was 15, or that's Wade Wilson? That's Wade Wilson, yeah. As a kid, age 15 or 16, would go around and systematically close the curtains. Oh. And at some point, probably like the first or second time, Mrs. Wilson would call him and say, well, why are you doing this? What's going on? And he said, there are people out there. And she said, okay. And Wade said, they're going to harm me. She said, are you sure? And he said, they're going to harm you too, Mom. They're going to harm the family. And he was very upset. And this happened more than once. That is, he had an apparent belief that others were intending to harm him and the family for reasons that were never specified. Now, that sounds, frankly, not only paranoid, but delusional. It isn't just that he was frightened or scared, but he had turned that fear into an entity or a group. Oh, God. Sorry. I just know what someone's going to say. Turn that into an entity or a group or entities who were planning to harm him and the family. At the conclusion of Dr. Mill's testimony, the defense rested. Is she still here? Because I know what she's going to say. Do I think that he was experiencing a psychosis break? In my unprofessional opinion, drug-induced. Yeah, that, people don't like to get it. People don't like to mention that. Yeah, so there's that. We're going to listen to that tonight, Steph. So no, I haven't listened yet. But do I think Wade... Here's the thing. Remember earlier at the beginning of the live when I said... I don't even remember what I said, shit. But I said something along the lines of, this society's like messed up and like we're catering to it. Honestly, there really isn't anyone that I think if you put them up in the spotlight, like let's say on the stand, that you couldn't make an argument that they didn't have some type of mental illness. Now, with that being said, do I think Wade suffers mentally? Oh, hell yeah. I toggle back and forth between sociopath and psychopath because he both does not have concern for human emotion, but he also does not have concern for human life. But I think his is majority drug induced. And when I say that, that doesn't mean that those feelings aren't already there, but they are magnified and I don't know. Most people do ... Yeah. Okay, so let's continue. State's rebuttal. So Dr. Hergott, psychologist, neuropsychologist, testified that he conducted an evaluation of Wade, and he opined that the WadeWilson does not have any memory defects. Wilson does not have frontal lobe impairment or brain injury. Wade does not have executive function brain damage. And Wilson does not suffer from a psychotic disorder like schizophrenia or psychoaffective disorder. At the conclusion, the state rested. So Wilson's rebuttal. Hyman was recalled, and he stated that Wilson's jail records that he reviewed and the records demonstrated that Wilson was prescribed the following medication. So again, this doesn't mean anything to me. You could, do you know? Oh my God, I won't even. This doesn't mean anything to me. So on May 18th, 2022, he was given Risperdal, 1 milligram, Invega, Zoloft, notation of Depakote, whatever that is, Cymbalta, Abilify, currently on lithium. In 2021, he was diagnosed with bipolar and antisocial disorder. He was also given Lexapro in 2021, Buspar, lithium, Trileptal, Lamistrol. Bipolar versus schizoaffective was in the records. So Mark Mills recalled, and he testified that the medications were given to Wilson during the time that he was in the jail, and all are antipsychotic medications. And he said that they are used either to treat schizophrenia, schizoaffective disorder, or bipolar disorder. So closing arguments with the jury instructions. Jury found by a vote of 9-3, Wilson should be sentenced to death for Christine's murder, and a vote of 10-2, Wilson should be sentenced to death for the murder of Diane. So we have Wilson's case in chief. Rubino, a medical doctor certified in neurology, stated that he ordered and reviewed several brain scans of Wilson, including an MRI, DTI, and CT scans. After reviewing the brain scans, Dr. Rubino opined that Wilson has a brain injury, and he stated that he believed that the crimes in this case are evidence of Wade Wilson's brain impairment, or he's just fucked up. Just saying, you know. Yeah, you're right, Mom. Yep. So the state's case in chief, Dr. Coyne, one of the medical examiners who testified during the guilt phase, stated that his conclusion after looking at Wade's brain scans was that Wade's brain was completely normal and there was no evidence of significant brain trauma. Closing arguments. At the close of the evidence, the parties gave their closing arguments. Ultimately, the trial court imposed the death sentence for both murder counts. So, summary of argument and standard review. So, Wade Wilson raises 6 claims on his appeal. Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear it, okay? So first, the application of the 2023 version of Section 921.141 Florida statutes, which eliminated the jury unanimity requirement. I knew it. Okay. Which, it makes sense. To appellant Wilson's offenses, which occurred 4 years earlier in 2019, violates the ex post facto clauses of the U.S. and Florida constitutions, as well as Florida statutory law. The elimination of the unanimity requirement makes it substantially more difficult for a capital defendant to defend against the imposition of a death sentence than the pre-2023 sentencing statute. Moreover, Section XYZ Florida statutes expressly prohibits retroactive application of any statute, quote, dealing in any way with a crime or its punishment. Second, this court's holding in State v. Poole that unanimity was not constitutionally required in capital sentencing, except for the finding of one or more aggravating factors, and it should be revisited in the light of the Supreme Court's affirmation in unanimous verdict as inherent in the right to a jury trial. So the third one is Florida's capital sentencing scheme. Oh, Lord. Does not satisfy Eighth Amendment standards because of the combined effect of the recent elimination of the unanimity, requirement, the elimination of proportionality review, and the increase over time of the number and scope of aggravating factors. The current system does not adequately channel the sentencer's discretion and does not contain sufficient safeguards against arbitrary and inconsistent capital sentencing. Finally, in claim number 4, you said you were raising 6. Ufferman. You said you were raising 6. What do you mean finally with number 4? It literally, in your opening summary of the argument, appellant Wilson raises 6 claims on appeal. 1, 2, 3. And then finally, in claim number 4, is my math not mathing here? You're missing 2. Where are the other 2? Oh, okay. So hold on. Nope. Let me read ahead. Okay. So I guess they're okay. So finally in claim 4, Wilson asserts that section 921.1416H Florida statutes, the heinous, atrocious, or cruel aggravator is unconstitutional. In claim 5, he asserts that section XYZ Florida statutes, the cold, calculated, and premeditated aggravator is unconstitutional. And in claim 6, he asserts that the victim impact evidence is unconstitutional. Wait a second. Okay, so 4, 5, and 6 are all lumped together. He asserts that so these are all Florida statutes. Heinous, atrocious, or cruel aggravator, unconstitutional. The cold, calculated, and premeditated aggravator, unconstitutional. And the victim impact evidence isn't. How? The victim impact evidence is unconstitutional? Daryl. Yeah, but I'm surprised he put that in there because it's one thing if Wade says it, it's another thing if the lawyer is saying it. I'm sure they will, Gidget. Let's see. Hey, Rhonda. Thanks, MK. Thank you. Congratulations, everyone. Welcome. Hi, Samantha. They did, Harlot. That was their first claim. Not that I've seen yet, Terminus. Okay. 2, standard of review. Because all of the issues presented in this brief appeal constitutional and statutory interpretation of Florida's death penalty law, this court and the review is de novo. The argument and citations of authority. So the application of the 2023 version. Okay. The application of the 2023 version of Section 921.141 Florida statutes to Appellant Wilson's case violates the ex post facto clauses of the U.S. and Florida constitutions, as well as Florida statutory law. So the 2 murder offenses in this case occurred around October 7, 2019. After the 2 murder offenses were committed, Senate Bill 450 was signed into law and immediately went into effect upon its signing on the 20th of April, 2023. So the bill amended Section 921.141, and it provided in pertinent part that a death sentence may be imposed if it is recommended by at least 8 jurors, as opposed to the unanimous recommendation of all 12 jurors that was required. Due to either lack of preservation or lack of merit. Ufferman, the undersigned counsel, are not raising any claims in this brief relating to the guilt phase of Appellant Wilson's trial. Objection to the autopsy photos, motion for mistrial. Oh, okay. So all 12 jurors are required by the prior version of the statute. And as explained below, application of the 2023 version of Section 921.141 to Appellant Wilson's case violates the ex post facto clauses of the U.S. and Florida constitutions, as well as Florida statutory law. So the 2023 statute abolishing I don't know why with that one word, every time I have to repeat it, it gets harder and harder. Unanimity. Why is it so hard? Violates the federal and state constitutions because it creates a substantial risk of increasing the punishment for capital crimes. So the ex post facto clause of the U.S. prohibits states from passing ex post facto laws. So it contains an identical prohibition to fall within the ex post. Okay. It's just case law and stuff. So when a law inflicting punishment is challenged as violating the ex post facto clause, the issue is whether the change in the law presents a sufficient risk of increasing the measure of punishment attached to the covered crimes. So it gives case law again. So the elimination of the unanimous requirement creates sufficient risk that a death sentence will be imposed to satisfy the concerns identified in Pugh and Miller, indeed making it more likely that a death sentence can be imposed if the reason for the change in the law. Stated differently, the reason the law was enacted was to increase the possibility, the risk from a capital defendant's point of view, that enough votes would be garnered to impose a death sentence, and to decrease the risk that 1, 2, or even 3 jurors would not be persuaded that death was an appropriate punishment in a given case. So under the 2023 statute, to receive a life sentence, a capital defendant must convince 5 jurors that death is not appropriate. This is a significant hurdle and was intended to be. The abrogation of unanimity. No, can I just say unanimous? Because I really can't do that word. So, it keeps embarrassing me. Oh, yeah, just being here. I'm not sure what you said, but just being here is supporting. Thank you for being here. So the unanimous was intended to result in the imposition of the death penalty on a greater number of defendants. Dude, no regrets though, okay? Oh, I'm sorry what happened with your job, Shay. Yeah, please, just being here, you don't have to gift, you don't have to be a member. Just being here is more than enough, so thank you. You can hit the thumbs up, and it's a free way to support the channel. We do get it. Yeah, Sinistra. Okay, so to the extent of abolishing the unanimous is a change in the procedure for obtaining a death verdict. Moreover, U.S. Supreme Court. Okay, so I understand, like, I don't have to read all this. I understand what the argument is. Any decisions predating Collins, which may have relied on. Okay. So again, case law. So this court upheld Florida's post-Hearst sentencing scheme against an ex post facto challenge in Victorino versus State. So Florida's new capital sentencing scheme, which requires the jury to unanimously and expressly find all of the aggravating factors that were proven beyond a reasonable doubt, unanimously find that sufficient aggravating factors exist to impose death, unanimously find that the aggravating factors outweigh the mitigating circumstances, and unanimously recommend a sentence of death before the trial judge may consider imposing a sentence of death, neither alters the definition of criminal conduct nor increases the penalty by which the crime of first-degree murder is punishable. So Florida statutory law expressly prohibits retroactive application of any statute dealing in any way with a crime or its punishment. So in addition to the federal and state constitutional prohibitions against ex post facto laws, it prohibits retroactive application of a criminal penalty. So as used in this section, the term criminal statute means a statute, whether substantive or procedural, dealing in any way with a crime or its punishment, defining a crime or a defense to a crime, or providing for the punishment of a crime. So except as expressly provided in an act of the legislator or as provided in subsections 4 and 5, the reenactment or amendment of a criminal statute operates prospectively and does not affect or abate any of the following: the prior operation of the statute or a prosecution or enforcement thereunder, and a violation of the statute based on any act or omission occurring before the effective date of act. So to derive the meaning of the statute, the court must look at the text itself as understood in its context, not to any purported intent underlying the text. So when construing a statute, the first and only step is to ask what the legislator actually said in the statute based on, okay, I'm not getting into all this. It's fine. I understand what he's saying. I'm assuming you guys understand what he's saying. I don't need to like read all the case law about it right now. Let me see. So accordingly, for the reasons set forth above, the application of the 2023 version, Wade's case violates the ex post facto clauses of the U.S. and Florida constitutions. Therefore, WadeWilson requests that his that his death sentence be vacated as unconstitutional and as a violative of section 775.022. Then the 6th and 8th Amendments require unanimous determination that death is the appropriate sentence, and this court should reevaluate its precedent in light of Ramos versus Louisiana. I'm not reading the case law. It's all about the unanimous requirement. I don't know why I could say unanimous fine. Unanimity, unanimity. Why can't I say that one though? Unanimous, no problem. Unanimity is a problem. If I heard it, I'll be able to say it, but I can't think of even the right way to say that. Okay, Poole versus Ramos. Florida's legislative abolition of unanimity. Okay. So the reason for 8-4 legislation is clear. 3 members of a broad county jury. I really want to see the 4 through 6. Okay. So Florida's capital sentencing scheme violates the 8th Amendment and its state's counterpart because it does not meaningfully guard against arbitrary and capricious imposition of the death penalty. So the elimination of the requirement for a unanimous death recommendation, combined with the court's elimination of proportionality review and the failure of the capital sentencing scheme to genuinely narrow the class of defendants who are eligible for the death penalty. Okay, it all applies to this. Dispensing with unanimity. Oh my God, I can't do that word. I can say anonymity. I can't. Oh, can I just hear this for 1 second? I need to hear how it's pronounced for me to understand it. Because I cannot keep embarrassing myself like this.
Unanimity.
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 Unanimity. Oh, I was getting it way wrong. Okay. So now I'm fine. Dispensing with unanimity. It just feels weird. It feels weird. Look, Harlan, it feels weird though. It doesn't feel right. You know what I mean? Like it reminds me like I'm in Finding Nemo, like the anemone, you know? Yeah, I could do that, Gidget. I'll just be like dispensing with the
Unanimity.
In the context of Florida's current capital sentencing scheme, deprives capital defendants of constitutionally essential protection against arbitrary and capricious sentencing. Andrea, not the Kris Jenner voice. So Florida has struggled with
unanimity
for decades. It gives in case law. Oh, thank you, DB Bentley. Thank you, hon. However,
unanimity
was not required in capital sentencing. Got it. Ramos versus Louisiana. So the elimination of proportionality review has removed a necessary safeguard against arbitrary and inconsistent capital sentencing. So proportionality to ensure that the statute would be implemented in a way that would avoid the constitutional concerns articulated in Furman. So the proportionality analysis is not the only way to limit the sentencer's discretion in imposing the death penalty. They relied on Pulley and the state's conformity clause when overruling Dixon. Abandoning proportionality review is a misapplication of Pulley. Okay, so it's all about the proportionality. So Florida's capital sentencing scheme now makes a defendant eligible for a death sentence if any of one of the 16 statutory aggravators is found. This Florida statute does not, on its face, meaningfully limit the number of persons who are subject to the death penalty or provide a meaningful basis for ensuring that death is imposed only for similar offenses occurring under similar circumstances. I don't want the examples. Thank you very much. So Florida's sentencing scheme has significantly expanded the number of offenses eligible for a death sentence since the post-Furman scheme was enacted and no longer serves the constitutional mandate of narrowing the class of those exposed to capital punishment. Okay. So the heinous, atrocious, or cruel aggravator and its corresponding jury instruction is unconstitutional facially and is applied to WadeWilson. So prior to trial, defense counsel filed a motion asserting that Section 921.1416H Florida statutes, which is the heinous, atrocious, or cruel HAC aggravating factor. And this is probably going to come up very much in Koberger. So anyone who is following me with the Koberger stuff, keep in mind, these are probably going to be factors. And thank you so much, Midnight Lays. Congratulations, whoever got that. Yeah. No, that's very kind, Midnight Lays. Thank you. Zoe, don't you do that to me. Don't you do that to me. Anonymous voted with unanimity at the UN's union. You stop that. That is a mouthful. All right, so let's see. The HAC aggravator continued, and its accompanying jury instruction are unconstitutionally vague and overbroad, and are not capable of constitutionally narrowing instruction and can only be applied in an arbitrary and inconsistent manner. So the unconstitutional HAC provision and its corresponding jury instruction continue to be used as a basis for imposing the death penalty in an unlawful manner, which makes proportionality review arbitrary. as the provision's bare terms are all that are required to be read to sentencing juries, as a whole is unconstitutional. So the terms heinous, atrocious, and cruel, either singularly or when combined, do not genuinely narrow the class of persons eligible for the death penalty and to be used in imposition of capital punishment. So this aggravating factor was written and promotes arbitrary, capricious, I don't know what that one is, and unfettered imposition of the death penalty in Florida. This aggravating factor, as written, its corresponding jury instruction, and the death penalty as applied in Florida, violates Florida Constitution and the 5th and 6th and 8th and 14th Amendments. So the vague statutory language of this aggravating factor and its corresponding jury instructions allow imposition of the death penalty for improper and unconstitutional reasons such as race, gender, ethnicity, religion, and social status. So in that instant case, the jury found that the HAC aggravating factor applied to both murders for the reasons articulated by defense counsel below. WadeWilson asserts that Section 921.1416H is unconstitutional. So we're going to see the same thing for the cold, calculated, and premeditated aggravator. And they filed a motion. And it's saying that the cold, calculated, and premeditated without any pretense of moral or legal justification circumstance has not been applied in a manner consistent with its legislative purpose. So failure to limit to execution type killings, failure to limit to killings involving heightened premeditation, the circumstance has been applied in such an inconsistent manner that it violates the Constitution, case law. So then, without any pretense of legal or moral justification, phrase renders the aggravating circumstance unconstitutional. The cold, calculated, and premeditated factor is the only one that requires the jury and court to make a finding that two seemingly unrelated elements apply before it may be used to support a sentence of death. It reads in full, I, the capital felony was a homicide and was committed in a cold, calculated, and premeditated manner without any pretense of moral or legal justification. The standard jury instruction on the CCP circumstance is unconstitutional and renders the death penalty unconstitutional as applied because it is subjected to the judgment of unguided juries. So the calculated element of the circumstance requires that there be a careful plan or prearranged design evidencing a heightened premeditation, and that the defendant planned or arranged to commit murder before the crime began. The cold element precludes application of the circumstance to a killing consumed by one in a rage, and the without any pretense of moral or legal justification element forbids application of the circumstance where there is any claim of justification or excuse that, though insufficient to reduce the degree of homicide, nevertheless rebutes the otherwise cold and calculating nature of the homicide. So in this instant case, the jury found that the CCP aggravating factor applied to the murder of Diane, and for the reasons articulated by the defense below, WadeWilson asserts that section unconstitutional. And then we have finally the victim impact evidence. So prior to trial, defense counsel filed a motion asserting the Florida statutes, the victim impact evidence is unconstitutional. So in this case, the state presented impact evidence during the penalty phase. For the reasons articulated, Wade asserts it's unconstitutional. So the appropriate remedy for all claims is reversal of the death sentence that were imposed in this case. Certificate of service. So we have Michael Ufferman and Laurel Niles. Is she co-counsel? Who is she? Okay, certificate of compliance. Okay. And that's that. Whew. Whew. That was a lot. That was a mouthful. You know, like I've kind of like bounced back and forth with this. And if Wade didn't have privileges like he doesn't have now, I'd be like, yeah, you know what, maybe life wouldn't be the worst. But if he got privileges back, which I really don't see him getting back, because he's going to continue to get in trouble, and he has FAFO FAO. Oh, it was interesting, Mom Silk. You know, it was. Then I don't know. I think it's one thing because he didn't seem phased at all going to death. But when it's time to sit in that chair or get laid down on the table or go in front of the firing squad, you know, for Koberger potentially, it's another thing, you know? Okay. Well, that took a lot longer than expected, but what we can do before we go to Patreon is listen, because I know there's still calls that we have to catch up on, and go through some of these photos, because that's what I was initially going to do. So let me pull this up. Oh, Harlot. And I went to go look earlier, even though I didn't have time to watch it earlier, but I went to go look for that dream, that Field of whatever that movie was with Robin. And it didn't have it anywhere. Okay, let me. Where is my PDF? Are you, Daryl? Oh, no way. What dreams may come. That's what it is. That's what it was. No, I need to open this in PDFX. Inmate tablet. Where is it now? Hold on. I have so many new downloads on my thing right now, so hold on 1 second. Is this 4? Yes, okay. Open with PDFX. Okay, let's do it. All right, and then I know that we had like one, like the butt of a call. They said the butt of a call, as if it's like the butt of a cigarette, but like it was like the last little end to that one call before we finished that last time. I think it's, yeah, tries to stop the release of his, that's what it was. Okay. So what number was that? Hold on, I'm just trying to figure out what number was that. Okay. Sorry, why is this not? Hold on, guys. I need to open this. Inmate time of 4. Open with PDX. And it's so annoying because I minimize this every time. But okay, here we go. It makes me lose the spot every freaking time. Okay. Exit out of this. Here we go. Share screen. Application window. This. Okay, ready. This. Little mustache for him. Okay. So this was call number 5 on the WadeWilson tries to stop release of his confession calls. And it says Wade and Jesse plan a TikTok live while he eats. Okay. Let's do it.
How's it going, Noah?
Very good. How are you?
And this is
superb. It's been
July 29th, 2024 we're starting with. But again, it jumps around, okay? 90s era chick. What about the letter Meek? I have everything lined up. And so if I get a chance to before I do Patreon, because I still have to do Patreon tonight, but I also have to get up very early for work. So if I can, I will do it by the time I finish this. If not, I'll just have to save it for the next time. Sorry, guys. I didn't expect to have to go through that entire thing. When I scheduled this 2 days ago, I didn't have that yet. You know what I mean? So sometimes gotta fit in what I gotta fit in. You did, Betsy. But okay, here we go. This is Wade and Jesse.
How's it going, Noah?
Very good. How are you? I'm doing well. How are you?
Superb. It's been a busy afternoon, but it's always good. So.
Yeah, it's needy
Did
Jesse.
you know that YouTube account has dropped another call that I did with Mila when you were at?
Wow.
Yes, I saw that. I didn't listen to it, but
Hey,
I knew that
Daryl.
they dropped it. So right now we're actually trying to drop
Thank you, hon.
a couple of stories. I gotta actually type what they said. We're trying to do something to distract from it and get people excited for. Hold on 1 second. Let me watch this real quick. Yeah, trying to get people excited for the TikTok live.
Trying to do what?
Give me 1 second. I'm just watching a video of Val put together. Oh, this is good. Really good. Yeah, that's it.
Hi, Wolfie.
We're dropping a teaser little trailer for the TikTok live that we're going to do on Sunday.
Oh yeah, how'd that go,
more
Jesse?
Kind of teasing the fact that we're going to be
yes,
hearing your side of the story from your closest friends.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah,
look at that toilet paper behind him.
I hope you got really balled out on this. You better.
It's going to be me doing most of the talking here, I guess, because I like Alexandra volunteered me to do
I think they
talking.
do one chance, to be fair.
Jesse, why don't you do it? Alexandra volunteered me. She's like, Jesse, why don't you do the live?
I don't know why she wants to.
Natasha,
Is
thank
everybody
you.
else going to be on the live too?
No, to my understanding, it's me and I think possibly Brooke or one other person.
My name is too big.
Why?
Go away, Melissa.
And that's what I was wondering. And I was like, okay, why am I being volunteered?
It is
Hold on a
Chase.
second.
I have to recheck with them though. Let me send a message and see if they changed their mind. But the thing I do was just myself and
Nah.
so
I'm not doubting that Daniela doesn't want to do it. She's shy, so that makes sense.
yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I hate his shaved chest. Little bitch.
I'm
Let me ask you
confirming,
a
but
question.
yeah.
Hey, hold on. Let me ask you a question. What if we were to bring in? Now, hold on. What if we were to bring in, right? Someone.
Oh yeah, I think this is where we last left off. Yeah, this was the last one. Ew.
Right? She's great at talking.
Brooke has to work all day Sunday. I already asked.
Hey, knuckle
I wanted her
sandwich.
I thought you literally said Brooke and you.
Well, it was supposed to be Brooke and I, and then she responded back that she has to work all day Sunday. It was supposed to be Brooke and I.
All right.
Jesse's boring.
Valerie said she can join. She doesn't want people to see her. I'm going to be off camera too. Going to be off camera too. We need someone to moderate it though, so it's probably going to be Valerie. And then Alexandra, she's going to be on a plane. So she said she cannot be on.
I can't put subtitles on. Anytime I'm able to put subtitles on, guys, I always put subtitles on. And I usually have them at 300% because I understand. But when I'm showing photos, I can't put subtitles on because the audio is playing through a different device because I'm sharing my screen to this device. But I'm going to try to figure out OBS instead of StreamYard so that I could share multiple screens at the same time. But for now, no. Like, I could have just said no, but like I wanted to give you an explanation with it. Good night, Chief. I want a quesadilla. That's what I want right now.
Yeah, Sunday's the 4th.
From Applebee's.
Okay. What if we brought somebody in?
Yeah. Hi, BB&J.
What if we consider bringing Tatiana in?
I like her. I do like her.
Okay. So, plus it's like a thing where we're going to have Valerie.
No need to be forgiven stuff.
Israel accent, right? Or like not accent, but I'm sorry, accent. Like, so she talks that way. I don't know. I haven't talked to her yet, but I will. But however she talks. And then
she does have a little bit of accent.
And then what if we have Tatiana who has the British accent? So we're covering a lot of bases with like accents and people, so people think it's more diverse.
That thing can summon the devil. That thing can summon the fucking devil. Okay? Just saying.
Then
I'm on board. I like her.
Right, and then Tatiana, maybe you lace her up on your side. She already claims to know what she knows compared to two, and then she could come in on the left as well.
Thrush!
I think that's a good idea.
You're gonna have to get with her about it.
Yeah, let me check in with her to see if it's something she'd be open to.
Yum, Harley.
About introducing her.
Right.
I want the sampler
so let me
platter.
talk with her first and say, hey, you okay if I just tell her that I was talking with you about it? Because I feel like it'll pump her up and you want her involved.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just want to make sure because she's like I said, she's very sweet to me, very very nice to me. Did you call her earlier and talk to her?
Mouthroids.
Okay, what did she tell you? I'm curious.
I told her about the recording.
Oh, what do you mean?
Sorry, Morel.
Horses?
Yeah, of course.
Is that a pit?
Yeah, no.
It's a little bit of a pit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. She said she had information for you, though, for Diane.
About Diane, really?
She said she had information to prove that you didn't put Diane in the bushes.
Can you? I'm sorry. He said for who? When she mentions the name Diane, we all know who she's talking about, right? But Wade has to be reminded. Your victim. Oh my God, Knuckle Savage. Okay, I respect you only because that was so fucking specific and unique. But at the same time, I hate you for being so specific and unique. Knuckle Sandwich says he looks like he smells like the back of an earring. Like, and I'm sorry, because there have been like, oh my God. Oh my God. But only if you know, because I've watched so many videos on that, like people who have had earrings that like either get severely infected or like it's too swollen or like they have it on too tight and they have to get it dislodged, and it's always like gross. Okay. So the fact that you would even think to describe his smell like the back of an earring is so perfect to me. So perfect. We don't know, PB&J. We really don't know. Yeah, Knuckle, you win. Yeah, like a caged ear, like one that is way too tight and has been in there. It like the post to the earring has somehow merged with the skin type of deal. You know what I mean? And it's got like that cheesy residue. Oh, ugh. But it was perfect. It was perfect because I knew exactly what you meant, and it's gross, and I love it.
She said that she had proof to talk to you about, or that they had proof that you didn't put Diane in the business.
Oh, really?
Right. Well, she did not tell me that, so.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, okay. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anyway. She said they had proof. So.
Yeah.
So let's discuss that and bring her in on the live. But that could be good.
Yeah, I like her. Like I said, I've had good conversations with her. She seems very nice.
Don't you
She
apologize.
seems dedicated. I will say dedicated. Very dedicated.
Yeah, very dedicated. Yeah.
Which I appreciate. Okay,
So
I'll work on that.
I'll get her as soon as possible.
Sorry, Steph.
Oh, what about the rest of this alleged background check that you did on?
Brooke is working right now, so she hasn't texted me, but she said as soon as she can, she's going to give me an update. But I'll tell you, I looked up more IP addresses for who's logging into our accounts, and it's weird. So there is somebody that's logging in, according to this, for Romania, but they're using a VPN to log in through Romania as well. So give me 1 second.
Ew.
I have it here. I did a Word document on it. So there's one VPN, there's one IP address here that's coming from Miami, Florida, from 8. This one has got two IP addresses. One that's not using
Jesse,
a VPN.
Why are you looking up people's IP addresses? What, like, Jesse? Yeah, not Jesse, not stalking other people, huh? Right, CB? That is looking up people's IP addresses and their VPNs, and I don't know how to do any of that, but not okay.
Here that's coming from Miami, Florida, from 8. This one has got two IP addresses. One that's not using a VPN. One that is using a VPN through that address. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Then I have two others. I also have another VPN through Romania that's being utilized for Romania. And then I have another one. It doesn't say it's a VPN though. It doesn't say it's a VPN, but it's also coming from Romania, but a different address.
What address? Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's
Harlan,
weird.
I don't know.
It's showing me that someone's logging in Miami, and it's also two different phones. There's an Android, and there's an iPhone that's logging in from Miami.
Does anybody know how she's doing that? Does anyone know how she's able to see, hey, like, so like me, and yes, this is what I do, me. Oh, she's logging in from, like Long Island, she's using this type of device. How? I only just tried Applebee's quesadilla recently, and it was really good. I would love that, Daryl. Please. Like, how? What is she doing? Does she have special abilities? Is she... I don't know why I keep fake typing, but like, what is she doing? Well, happy birthday to him. I don't know. I'm lucky I can screenshot. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Who is signed into your feed? Oh, if she... Okay. Well, if that's how she's doing it, like anyone who has access, like the same way with a Google account, you could see all of the devices on the Google account and a general location. But as far as IP address, I don't know about that. But to be fair, I don't even technically know like what an IP address is. Thank you, Linda. That's so sweet of you, hon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't take my IP address. I don't care how. Yeah, I agree. Jesse's spreadsheets for stalking. I get an email with an IP and it will say if it's a VPN. Same thing. Oh, well, what freaking duh. I think it is. Like if you're using it specifically to get information on people.
In the same spot?
Same spot. Well, sorry. The iPhone is logging in from Miami at the same spot.
Yeah, knuckle sandwich. Oof.
Did you look at that address to look on the internet and see what that house or spot looks like?
I did. It's a house. It's a house. Yeah, I looked at
What kind of house?
I have a picture of it. Give me a second.
Real nice or?
I mean, it's not that great. It's like a ranch style. The outside is kind of busted.
Yeah, Daryl.
Yeah, it's in a neighborhood. It's in a neighborhood.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not a super nice house by any means, no.
Looking up people's houses then. Now you're looking up people's houses. That's a no-no. That's a no-no. Tisk tisk. Because the way I see it, Aaron, it's projection, right? They're doing shady shit. They're lying. They're all lying to one another. They all have something to hide. And so they project it on one another. The same way that if you cheat on your spouse, you're likely to be the one that all of a sudden starts side-eyeing your spouse, right? And like, who are you texting? It's projection.
Well, if she's there, or why would she be there?
Exactly, but I'm wondering who's logging in from these.
Yeah, never second guess sorry.
Can you look at residence of to find who the owner is of the home?
3-bedroom, 1 bath. Estimated
Or
value
Kelly.
is actually like, I guess it's maybe more than I thought. Estimated value is $434,000.
Who's the registered owner?
That's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
Oh, wow, okay.
Let me just see. It says the current resident is
Marsha. Oh, God, look at him. Oh, God.
Yeah.
You know what's weird?
What's
I
weird?
think that name is trying to add me.
Thank you,
That last
Andrea.
That last name rings a bell on my friend's request list, but I don't have the goddamn tablet on the goddamn charger right now.
It's okay. We'll remember that for after, okay? But I just think it's weird. Like, I'm just confused of how this person would be logging in.
Something about that last name.
Wooden teeth.
What was the name? Marcia?
That, or there's also a...
Got it. Now, right?
It's like, I want to have faith in Alexandra that she is who she's saying she is, but it's just weird that, like, someone's logging in clearly from there. One of the military...
Not the never-ending story.
A tropical storm or something that's coming through. If you lose power, will you not be able to call, or do you not lose power?
You have 1 minute remaining.
Baby, they have generators here. This is really awesome. We can't have power go out until fucking the state shit.
Well, let me know if you see. I'll come pick you up.
Yeah, no,
You can call me back. You can call me back and have me call.
You got any calls?
No, I have no any calls. I didn't know if you had calls.
You always have calls.
I am, but I love you.
I love you.
Thank you for using
Okay. I don't think there's a short one. Oh. All right. I'll play this short one. And then we're going to go over to Patreon because I got to be up early. So this is WadeWilson wants new woman to brand herself with his name. Oh, never would have saw that coming.
What happened?
I can
Haley.
hear you, but you could not hear me.
I don't know why.
Really bad.
Haley, it's
Oh,
Clingy
yeah.
Haley.
This one's fun. But so, hey, real quick, can you check
I'm already more interested. It's not Jesse. Hang on.
the TikTok live and see how many people are there? It's probably about to end, so I just wanted to know.
Okay, let me look. Hold on.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
I will. I'll give you 2 seconds.
Oh, it says it ended. It says, but it tells you.
You too fast. Hold on. That hurts my ADHD. Hold on. Okay, let's try that.
The total amount of people that like watched it, and it says 3.4 thousand viewers.
Wow.
Well, that's not bad.
No, that's not bad at all, baby.
Baby.
Okay. Good. All right, good. Real good.
And then they said that they were gonna post everything, like all of the on the actual page after, so people can go back and listen to them again.
So, like not in the live format, but just on replay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ew,
Well,
put that
can you, after
tongue
the live
on
event, typically you can't like run that back unless it's
No,
reposted
you can't.
by the user? Unless it's reposted by
I'll try you.
I heard your other Q&A.
It was a
yesterday,
fucked up
too. I
scene.
listened to those.
Yeah?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
That had like your favorite color, and did you like?
Dude, the whole concept of a never-ending story is really fucked up. This kid got locked in school, okay? It's terrifying. Try to watch child movies as an adult and you realize just how fucked up it is. Like this kid getting bullied, has to hide, then he gets locked in a school throughout the weekend and he reads this weird fucked up story of Treyu. This fucking horse is morphing. You have this fucking great, terrifying thing flying in the sky. Okay, like there's just such weird, fucked up concepts. Yeah, the never-ending story.
What's my favorite color?
Blue. Any shade of blue?
Sweet and sour.
Yeah,
Sour.
Except with you.
I don't know, Gidget.
What?
I feel like when we were kids, we were forced to enjoy it. To be fair, I don't recall one movie as a kid I didn't enjoy. Can you guys? Like, what movie didn't, like, did we not enjoy movies as a kid? Like, there's a difference. It could scare the shit out of you. But, like, did you not enjoy it? There's a difference. I feel like we enjoyed everything, like, as a kid. Yeah, we were stronger back then, okay? We were built differently.
What's the weirdest place that you've had, like, sex with somebody that was on there?
Oh, God.
I like how you remember that one. You look like you remember that one.
Yeah, Tara.
What was the answer to that one?
In the ocean?
Yeah.
We were grateful.
Free diving with sharks and other fish and other things like that.
That's what you said. And then
That
they
was
asked if you had, was it? I would
Old Yeller.
Oh, we're gonna ask. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
And then if you've been to other countries, and you said that you've been to like Costa Rica and Jamaica and Mexico. See, I listen.
You listen. You do.
But I'm very disappointed in you because they asked what your favorite movie and show was, and you didn't say Harry Potter.
Yeah, I can't
my
think of
God.
any, Harlot.
I couldn't give that answer. I would have loved to, but I just felt like we got picked on about it. So I didn't want to say that.
How would you get picked on? Everyone loves Harry Potter.
Why is that funny,
Well, it's
Wade?
true. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, if you don't like Harry Potter, it's you, but, like, I don't know. You know?
But I've never seen your favorite show, so I'm sorry.
It's so
Oh,
true.
listen, Black
Hi,
Mirror is on
Michelle.
Netflix, and it's the shit. Let me
No.
ask you a question. What about this? Have you ever seen Trailer Park Boys?
I have.
That shit's funny. I do like that one, too. That shit's
Ew,
pretty
look
funny.
at his little chin strap.
I'm always impressed with you.
You still find me fascinating?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're
You know when you're real
fascinating.
impressed, when I'm real impressed with you?
Why?
All the time, but you know even more specifically when?
Why?
When?
When you're in your bikini and you're sitting down and your fucking ass is just squished out to the sides like that.
Oh,
So, you know,
well, lucky
I'm
her.
super impressed. But
Not
I'm
all of us
like,
have ass
mind blown.
squishage. Just saying.
Well, you'll probably get more of those tomorrow when he approves.
Insane.
When they approve them.
1.25 CB.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Oh, he's so gray.
But
Make sure that I do, and make sure you sneak some little pictures in. Okay.
I'm trying. The last
Hey,
time I did,
Phoebe.
they caught me, so now I feel like they're on the lookout for that.
All right, you're right. Maybe so. We'll wait.
I tried one
We'll
time.
wait, we'll wait.
The last time I tried, I got caught. So I feel like I should hold off a second.
I got caught. Yeah.
Sinistra.
Anyhow, I us caught. Gosh.
I'm sorry.
Ah,
It's a real good picture too.
You got us jammed up like that? You got us caught?
It's the one that I told you about where I'm like sitting backwards on the chair and it's literally like
Ass.
my ass.
Wow, were you naked in that
She's
one? Or
really
you had
pretty,
a thong
Carolyn
on or what?
I had
Cooper.
something on. I had something on.
Hmm.
It was like a little like thong
Girl.
bodysuit thing, black
Watch it.
bodysuit thing that had like a super low back too.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm. It's a good picture. It's a really good picture.
Every picture of you is pretty goddamn good, to be honest with you. I mean, I haven't seen a bad one yet, so if you can show me that, I mean. So.
I
What
will
the
not show you the bad
fuck?
one. I will not.
Yes, you will. You will send me a fucking bad yes, you will. Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, listen, I believe one of
Oh,
these days,
you got a
not
spec.
tomorrow, but I could get out of here eventually. And if that happens, if
I
I wake
see
up
that.
next to you, I'm going to see you in the morning.
I see that poppy fucking seed or whatever that is. I see it. My brain, my eyes just go right for it. Poppy seed. It's probably a speckle of shit.
With, just all messy hair and mess, and your eyes stuck together, and your lips and shit, and you know what I'm going to do, baby? I'm just going to take your beautiful face, yet and still in my hands, and I'll just crawl up to your face and I'll just peel your mouth open, and then I'll just put my in your throat. While you're all sleepy, and then you're trying to open your eyes, they're all crusty and shit like that, and I'm just like,
Ew.
I'm like, good morning.
Oh, eye crusties are the worst.
Rise and shine. Hell yeah, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, that's going to
I would love to wake up next to you.
Oh, and I will just say, if you're a dog owner and you don't clean your dog's eye crusties, shame on you. You don't deserve to be a dog owner. I will just say that because I feel like I have to say that.
Like that, though. Even more specifically like that.
That's fine.
What feels like that. Yeah.
That's fine. Mm-hmm.
Like throw you over the side of the bed and just dive in you and just drop my body on top of you too. Stand it up, I'm just fall down on top of you.
That mirror that I have in my room that I always take pictures of, it's super big and it's right next to the bed, so you'd be able to see everything too.
So I want to see it all, huh? I want to watch it in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
No, you want to watch it in the mirror with me on top of you. You want to watch it in the mirror.
That's
You want to look in the mirror so you can look back and see your ass all pressed up to me and your and shit. You want to look. That's what you
absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
Hey, honestly, I'm gonna tattoo my name on your ass. I don't give a fuck. My name's going on your butt. I don't give a shit. At some point, yeah, I'm saying I am not playing with you.
Yeah, we all know you don't.
Yeah, my whole name is gonna go on your butt. Yep. Mhm.
From butt to
Good
butt.
shit.
Yeah, why are you laughing about it? I'm for real. Don't play with me. I'm serious. Mm-hmm. It's gonna say WadeWilson's butt cheeks.
WadeWilson's butt cheeks.
Just like that?
Yeah, we'll leave out the butt cheeks beneath it, but just my name. Yeah.
Okay. Or proper name,
Right.
WadeWilson?
That's going in your. That was good though. That's going actually in the front.
Ew.
Yeah. That's going in the front. You must have been thinking what I was thinking. I can't believe you said that. It's crazy. Great minds think alike. That's wild. That's crazy. That's gonna go on your, and then that's gonna go on your ass, and then.
I'm also going to have your name on my arm.
Well, no, you're gonna have my face on your arm. We're gonna put my face on your arm, and then
This
on
face?
the back,
No, I
we're
won't.
gonna put 2 W's
No, I won't get you.
back there. Yeah, and then that'll be complete.
All over my body.
That's just like you should have me all over your body, anyways, in every type of way. Yeah, ink-wise, physical form, emotionally, you should have me all over you.
Sure.
Yeah, it's only fair. It's only right. It's only right.
Then I expect the same in return.
Of course you do. Of course you do. What tell me? So tell me what I gotta do. Tell me what I gotta do. So I just told you what you got. Tell me what I gotta do. Let me hear. Let me hear what's up. I just told you everywhere you gotta handle that.
Emotional
For a
twister.
second, I gotta make sure. You definitely have to get my face on you. You can pick any of the pictures I sent you, and you can put my face
Dude, I
on
would
you.
easily love to get your face on me. That would be fun. That would be everything. Yeah. Okay. Where?
Maybe the one with the curly hair.
Yes.
The same way you get someone pregnant as fuck, Susie. Don't ask. Hey, Sprinkled Donut.
have room?
Susie.
Where do you have room to put my face?
Well, my upper right arm is available completely. My upper right arm, the bicep area, actually just the whole arm though, is open. Yeah, just that whole arm right there.
Well, then
I have it at
my
1.25.
face is gonna go on your upper right arm, on your
That's a good
bicep.
spot. That's a good spot.
And then I gotta think of everywhere else.
Ew.
You're face. You don't have a face.
Ew.
Well, listen, I have two more things.
My face is the most important part.
That's important. That's pretty important. That's real important, isn't it? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I also want to I'm also going to put my name on the bottom of your foot, like Buzz Lightyear.
Look, he has it. I don't know what that's called in man terminology, but he has a vertical stash that goes to his chin strap. Do you see it? It goes down. Upside down umbrella. It's the Umbrella Academy. You're welcome, Gidget. That's what my purpose is up here, obviously, is to take my big green pointer and focus on the grossness.
Everybody knows that who you belong to. And then,
You mean Woody?
yeah, like Woody, sorry. Like Woody, and so my feathers too. And then we're gonna get her the inside of your
I know,
lip
so
tattoo,
there's that.
right? Where nobody can see it, but when you pull your lip down,
He's talking to Haley.
like that, it's gonna say, right? It's gonna say, ready? It's gonna say wet for Wade.
Ew. Oh my God.
Do you like that?
Ew, look at
You
his
like that?
chin.
That's my favorite, baby.
We gotta do the one on the lip though, for real. Wet for Wade. That'd be legit. The real shit. We gotta do that one though. You gotta at least give me that one for real, because nobody can even see it.
Yeah. Oh, you're cutting out again. Hold on.
Oh, you're cutting out. Is that a T? Or is that an I? What is that? Is it an I? Is it a T? Is it an LMNO? What is that? Anchors away. Look at me. I'm the captain now. What is that? That's not. Looks like bookends. I don't know what that is, but that's not. I don't know. I would never intentionally do that. It looks like a mushroom explosion. The atomic bomb just whoosh. I don't know.
Hold on. Give me a second. Let me see if I go on my balcony if that helps. Hold on. You're cutting out again.
All right.
Okay,
No,
I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
I can.
All right, good. Yeah. So then when I pull, your lip down with my dick, just says wet for Wade. Wet for Wade.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Are
Thank
you going to be able to
you.
call me back, or is this going to be it for the day?
For this day, God, I have to make.
Was he beat up?
You always say, oh, I promise, and then you broke your promise the other day.
Actually, listen, I have to make a call now just to conclude what happened with some TikTok live. Okay, with my team, that's it, and then I'm free. I don't have anything again until 4, so I will call you back. I'm not going to say promise because then you're going to be like, yeah, right. But I am going to call you back.
You can see he has cuts.
Okay.
Only if you tell me you love me.
I love you. Of course I love you, baby.
I love you too, baby. And only if you tell me you're going to get the wet for Wade on your lip.
No.
I will get the wet for Wade on my lip whenever I'm allowed to get tattoos again.
Are you always wet for Wade?
Is she underage?
Always.
I love you.
Baby. Are you still marrying me?
I am still going to marry you. Yeah, I would.
Thank you for using GTL.
Thank you, GTL. Thank you. I can't. Okay, make sure. Yeah, Phone Calls from Prisons. Link is in the description always. And then I will drop their link. So I'm going to stop there because I want to go over to Patreon. We're going to go over to Patreon. We're going to review the new nasty. God, I don't even feel like I have the ability to do this tonight. But we're going to go listen to the next disturbing call and review it. Yeah. So if you are a Patreon member, I know, Harlot. I won't say that I'm not interested in the calls anymore, but like once you've heard one, you've heard all. You know what I mean? And the calls, like, I'm more interested in emails. Like, I do like reading the emails, but the calls are so, like, it's obnoxious listening to him. It's really obnoxious listening to him. So that's why I'm like, great. Even though I will say, when I don't want to say I prefer like the disturbing ones on Patreon over the sexual ones, but again, with the sexual ones, once you've heard one, you've really heard all. But at least with the disturbing ones, which I don't want, obviously I don't want those, but I'm more interested on a psychological level of it, because it's not all the times that you get to hear a killer openly talk about what they want to do, their fantasies. And so at least I'm more interested on that aspect. But when it's eating shit, yeah, like, I'm good, I'm good. But yes, hun, we're gonna do, Tisha is scheduled for tomorrow night. And then I know we're doing more Idaho this week, and Casey. So keep an eye out. He was talking to Haley, PB&J. We call her Clingy Haley. I liked Haley in the emails only because she was self-aware, and she came up front and said, hey, like, I'm clingy as fuck. I'm needy. And like, I like self-awareness, And so, but she's spoken out. We've reviewed interviews with her before. We'll interview, singular. But all right, let's go over to Patreon. I will see you guys there in a minute. Thank you all for hanging out. I know we didn't get to everything tonight, so I will do it on the next live. But I will see you all soon. And if not on Patreon, I will see you guys tomorrow night for Tisha.